Voiceover time. Final Fantasy XIV's patch 7.2 is just around the corner, and with it the next wing of Dawntrail's Arcadian raid series. So, if you're waiting impatiently for the next patch, or maybe you're just getting to wing 2 of the Arcadian a little late, heck, maybe a lot of late, this is everything you need to remember about the lore of Arcadian's first raid wing. Now, your first question might be just what the heck is the Arcadian in terms of the lore of Final Fantasy XIV, so let me bring my eyes back over to my script and proceed in voiceover. The Arcadian is the premier entertainment venue of Solution 9, a wrestling arena of sorts where challengers employ the same feral beast souls you may remember from Dawntrail's MSQ to up their strength in combat. And the arena itself morphs to complement the fighting styles of the foes found within. During Zeralja's war against Tulio Lal, the arena had been shut down in an effort to direct as many resources as possible to the war effort. But following Zeralja and Queen Spheen's defeat at the hands of Wuklamot and the Scions, the Arcadian officially reopened, giving any Warriors of Light the chance to take on Dawntrail's main raiding series. Ascension Arcadia, as Medem puts it, the premier enterprise for entertainment in Solution 9, hosts the Ascension Arcadia Championship. If you ever wondered what the AAC in all of the raid fights stands for, well, you have your answer. There, now you know what the Arcadian is. While I'm in voiceover mode, I'd like to remind you that we do have a Patreon. Check out supportourbromance.com. That's the place that you can go to our Patreon. If you don't trust links that just forward you to our Patreon, you can go directly to our Patreon at patreon.com/Garrett and Kyle. The patreon.com/Garrett and Kyle, where Garrett is spelt with 2 R's and 2 T's. Not 1 R, not 1 T, but 2 R's and 2 T's. The patreon.com/Garrett and Kyle that supports me, Garrett, and Kyle. Have I said patreon.com/Garrett and Kyle enough times for you to remember that we have a Patreon over at patreon.com/Garrett and Kyle? Let's get back to the frickin' recap. So let's proceed on to the actual story of Wing 1, which means it's time to go all Toonami. Previously on the Arcadian. The head of the AAC Strategic Management, Medem, personally invited the Warrior of Light to compete in the Arcadian. If Medem is to be trusted, and who wouldn't trust such a sharp-dressed potato? Ascension Arcadia reopened the Arcadian to ease the sorrow of Solution 9's populace in the wake of their queen's death. I'll tell you who I don't trust, though. The president of the Arcadian, who is apparently directly responsible for the Warrior of Light being invited to the Arcadian in the first place. With canonical offers of better gear as the carrot to the Arcadian stick, the Warrior of Light and their 7 closest friends agree to compete. Wait, 8 versus 1. Are we the heel of this storyline? Now let's get to introducing the Soul Shifters. We meet the E-Girl, the Southern Belle, Junkrat, and absolutely no one else. Just those 3 to start, but if you know anything about Final Fantasy XIV raid wings, and you can count, you'll know that that doesn't add up to 4 bosses. Yet, all of the fighters in the Arcadian use such potent feral souls that their very forms are altered, warping them into a twisted visage of themselves mixed with the animal, insect, or crotch they're calling on. And to canonize the fact that the Warrior of Light is pulling up on every fight with 8-to-1 odds, Medem informs the wall that the Arcadian keeps the souls of former champions on storage, so they'll be fighting alongside the champion in the fights ahead. More monologuing Medem informs the wall that the Arcadian has 3 tiers: light heavyweight, cruiserweight, and plain old heavyweight. Hey, that sure sounds like good titles for 3 raid wings spread over 3 patch cycles. Depending on the dialogue choices, Medem promises to free the souls of those that fight alongside the Warrior of Light for each of the Warrior of Light's victories, and would-be raiders head into the Arcadian's first fight against Black Cat, the ferocious femme feline who harnesses the soul of what I believe to be a reference of Final Fantasy XI. I actually have no idea, never played it. And a fierce feline. After dodging left then right or right then left, left then right or right then left, but with cone attacks this time, making biscuits, getting suplexed through the damn air, killing your friends by breaking the arena, and wondering why Cheeto's paws are on the ground, Yana takes her shortcomings unrealistically well for a raider and befriends the Warrior of Light. No time to go on a friendly outing though, because our boy Meta manages to make more memories by introducing us to the next challenger, Honey Bee Lovely. What does the B stand for? Entering into a kawaii nightmare that makes the ending of My Girl seem a bad taste, Honeybee Lovely brings more toxicity than baby metal fans to bear against our hero, but is struck down in the process. Now, while waiting for Medem to arrange the next matchup, Black Cat, real name revealed to be Yana, volunteers to be the Wall's second, the Mickey to our Rocky, the Notice Me to our Senpai. Speaking of Sims, while following Yana to her gym, the Warrior of Light runs afoul of their first fan experience, and please Yoshi P, if you're going to use my Warrior of Light's design, at least give me these hair color options. Sorry, but not everyone's a fan. The idol obsessed are also out to defend their Queen Bee's honor, and the YouTube comment section even makes an appearance. But before we can continue down the Savage Tees storyline, a disgruntled fan lets slip that Yana isn't the only fighting member of her family. Because this is Final Fantasy XIV and not Mass Effect, Yana's gym is full of backstory instead of romance options. Aww. Turns out, Yana has two sisters, one that fights, and one that is damn adorable, and very forgiving of us for beating the snot out of her family. And in case you forgot you were playing Final Fantasy XIV, they of course have dead parents. Parents that are dead because, just like the Warrior of Light, they refused to wear regulators. Dead parents that Yana and her sisters only remember because they refused to use regulators. Accepting the rare drink, Yana and the Warrior of Light toast to their new friendship, and Yana fills us in on her more mysterious and absent sister, Eutrope. A top-tier electrope-wielding fighter who rose to the top of the heavyweight division. Surely the Warrior of Light doesn't need to worry about fighting her anytime soon. Sure wonder who that mysterious fourth challenger is going to be. We learn that, unlike real-life pro wrestling, Arcadian fighters retire young, being immortalized in the Ascension Arcadia Hall of Fame if they fight to the age of 20. And instead of aging into controversy, they live out their days in plush comfort. But it's onward to totally 100% no bait and switch, absolutely the final fight of the light heavyweight division and our first true heel, the Brute Bomber. Taking liberties with what is considered an animal in 14, the Bomber uses the might of the Bomb King, or some nonsense as his feral soul, but more importantly, he uses the power of entertaining wrestling. That's right, he cheats. Groin! Now the light heavyweight champion, the Warrior of Light, must attend their own celebratory ceremony. But just as Brute Bomber attempts to ruin the festivities, mysterious lightning strikes him down, and the wall meets the entirely surprising fourth challenger, Yana's sister, Wicked Thunder herself, Eutrope. Now, because Wicked Thunder mysteriously disappeared in the past, we learn that her Arcadian license was revoked. But just as it's looking like our fight will end before it even begins, the enigmatic president of the Arcadian intervenes, allowing an exhibition match and a four-boss, now complete raid wing to conclude. Shaking off the stun of the sudden sight of her sister, our second sends the wall to stand stoutly against her steed-staged soul. Pushing players' ability to look respectfully to new limits, Eutrope gives new meaning to the term Horse Girl and brings all to bear against the Warrior of Light. After dodging left lightning, right lightning, grid lightning, chandelier clones, blue or yellow, big guns, and bigger naturals, the Warrior of Light and 7 canonical souls send Wicked Thunder fleeing the ring and straight into a sisterly reunion back at the family gym. Yana understandably has a lot of questions, but before answering any about why she's been gone, Eutrope drops a new key piece of feral soul lore: Psychonecrosis. No, that is not the name of a new band whose logo you cannot read. It's an irreversible disease that degrades one's soul if they keep transfiguring themselves with feral souls. An irreversible disease that Eutrope herself has contracted. Feel bad for thirsting over her yet? If you were wondering, wait, what about that immortalization ceremony where the Ascension Arcadia forces fighters to retire and hooks them up with a cushy apartment? Well, Yana was wondering that too. To which Eutrope reveals it to all be a lie built to exploit Arcadian fighters and cover up their deaths. This is where the storyline of the Arcadian twists the known lore about regulators into a new, dark direction. Yana rightfully points out that she still remembers all the retired fighters, something that shouldn't be true if they died, because, as established in Dawn Trail's MSQ, a function of the regulators is to remove the memories of dead citizens. But Eutrope uncovered a secret facility where Ascension Arcadia takes retired fighters, removes their regulators, and confines them until they die, thus preserving their memory for all. Eutrope disappeared because she feared she would run afoul of the same fate, and she's been searching for a cure to psychonecrosis ever since. Her current theory? That someone else's surpassingly dense soul could cure the disease. A dense soul, just like the Warrior of Light possesses. That's right, like Shang Tsung going through a rave girl phase.
You will be next.
Eutrope promises to have the Warrior of Light's soul next time, snaps at Yana, and runs out, making room for Medem to own up to his eavesdropping. Having heard the entire exchange, it's clear that Medem was in the dark on Arcadian fighters' ultimate dark fates. Fearing
no mercy
from the Arcadian's president, Medem cautions Yana against going public with the psychonecrosis scandal. No, Medem has a different plan, one that includes at least 2 more Raid Wings of content. The Warrior of Light must become the Arcadian's Grand Champion. The Grand Champion can access all of the souls in the Arcadian's repository, and like Shang Tsung doing his best Walter Peck impression, release all of the souls, leaving the Arcadian with no choice but to end the use of feral souls and protecting every future generation of fighter. Lest we fear for her well-being, Yana reminds us that she can't fight anytime soon anyway, and vows to look for her own psychonecrosis cure, one that doesn't involve our hero's own soul. When will Eutrope's soul-stealing stride strike again? Who is the Arcadian's president? What cure could Yana possibly find? Will any track bop as hard as Be My Honey? Find out next time, after you wipe a few times, in Arcadian Wing 2.
My word, he just assaulted the referee! The scoundrel!